Okay, can you hear me okay? Okay, I cannot hear you. Why is that? Give me just 2 seconds. There we go.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah.
So it
Awesome.
didn't ask me. It didn't ask me if I had any sites that I wanted to stream to. So I'm guessing it probably just streamed to my Facebook page, or.
Okay, well, you know what? Let me just get on. Let me see what's going on to see if I get into my. Oh, I did see that here. Here we go. Live with Sheri Hawkins. Awesome. Let me just play this here. Okay, so we're live.
No, we're not. Are we?
We are definitely live. Oh. Okay, awesome. So why don't we dive into this? I have that playing on my personal Facebook stream. So I'm assuming the same thing's happening on yours. Let me just type it real quickly. And for anyone else that's out there, I'm sure there's not too many listeners at the moment because we're trying to play with new technology and all that other stuff, right? So if I go, I don't see that on your personal stream, Sheri.
Yeah, it didn't ask me for any.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's just dive in and let's have our conversation. That sound good?
Yes, but like,
okay,
I just want to make sure I understand how this works.
So let's bring everybody up to speed on what we're doing, how the whole thing started, and kind of how we're feeling about it. So why don't you start off with how we kind of started our Wake Up Niagara 5:30 a.m. call.
Yeah. So what was the name of the guy that had initially started this, Steve?
Yeah, that was Joe Trimboli. So he, is a mortgage. He's an awesome mortgage guy, but he's also, does coaching on the side. So remember, you and I had gone to a couple of his, wake up, 5 o'clock, things, and really liked it. So, go ahead.
So so it's basically it's built on the concept of the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. And the concept is starting off your morning with something inspirational, personal growth related, and the first segment of your day is broken up into exercise, then followed by meditation or a meditative breathing, and then personal growth and journaling, whichever. So the point is, by the time that you start your day, you're vibrating at a high frequency. You're feeling positive about your day. You've started off on the right foot. So awesome. So Steve, you and I started this with Joe, and then kind of I noticed with those 6 weeks when I was doing it consistently, that I was just more productive. My day was way more productive with my time throughout the day because I was starting earlier and starting on a positive note. And then with most things, fell off the bandwagon for a bit. And then it's like, why don't we just do this ourselves? And so we started doing this, probably about 3-4 weeks ago now, Steve?
Yeah, and so Sherry and I are meeting when as best we can. I mean, obviously, it's just the two of us at the moment, and ideally, at some point, if we want to kind of build this, or if someone's interested in coming forward and being a part of, what we got going on, we're more than happy to have a conversation. But really, for the most part, we kind of get online at 5:30 Monday to Friday. We don't do weekends, we don't do public holidays, all that other great stuff, and we're really looking to pick a book. I get the book through Kindle, and we share our screen and we read together, and we just kind of, pass off to each other when you feel like you've read enough. And then the other person, picks up, and we go from there. And I think the really great thing about the process too is because it's more conversational in nature. It's not so structured. If we have a particular area we find impactful, we'll go back and we'll kind of reread it and just digest that. So we've been
Mhm.
kind of marking up the book that we've chosen, with highlights for passages that we thought were really impactful. So what we're reading right now is we're reading a book called Procrastinate on Purpose, 5 Permissions to Multiply Your Time, by a guy named Rory Vaden. And so we weren't familiar, with his work at all. I mean, he's got a really big, business background, has a coaching and training, sales training, a company in the U.S. But what we really like about the book, there's a ton of stuff. But Sheri, why don't you kind of give our listeners the overall impression of what you're thinking about the book so far? Like, how's it kind of hitting you?
Well, I mean, it's kind of serendipitous actually that we chose this because like a lot of the things it's addressing are things that are like happening in my day-to-day life. And so
I
like
hear you. I hear you.
and that's another thing that I've actually found kind of interesting is like even though we're, two different people at two different levels, obviously I'm the far superior one.
Obviously, what? Say that again.
I'm the far superior one. That was a joke. Uh, no, I'm joking, but
I'm
like,
laughing at you. I'm laughing at you, not with you.
as you should, as you
Oh, did I
100%
get that
should.
wrong? Did I get that wrong?
Um, and so yeah, so we like we do have some of the same pain points, which is always interesting to me because
Yeah.
you think that people who are like have achieved a higher level of success than you or at a different level don't struggle with the same things that you do. And so sometimes it takes me for a loop when you and I are like, oh, at the same things, because I'm like, how are you still struggling with this? You've
But
been running your
you
own
know,
business for like, like how long have you been in mortgages, Steve?
since 2013. Yeah, so like
Right?
kind
So
of
like
coming up
you've
on
got a
10 years.
decade,
Yeah,
and before that, your
that sounds
magazine and like
decade sounds really really old, but
it
that's okay.
does.
I'm not afraid to own it. Listen, so I think you made a really interesting point there. You're saying, how is that you have the same pain points and
Yeah.
problems and all that stuff, and I think really when you look at it, we're not that different. And I think the human condition is that there's a lot of commonalities, and you think that, oh, I'm the only one that feels this way, when really you're not. Like, there
Yeah.
are lots of people who are sharing similar pain points, and maybe, sorry about that, and maybe the application might not be exactly the same, but in a
Mm,
broad global sense it is really similar. And you can relate to that. I think that's what really kind of humanizes
mhm.
our experiences, because there are a lot of people that you can talk to, and they say, yeah, I know exactly where you're coming from. Again, the
Yeah.
circumstance might not be exactly the same, but there's a lot of commonality there.
Yeah.
So listen, so in Rory's book, what we love about this is that, it's definitely from not only a business perspective. Clearly he is a business person, and he's looking at trying to be able to make suggestions for improvement, in your business space. But there's a lot of overlay into the personal space as well. It's not as if those two areas of your life exist in silos. They're closely interrelated. So what's interesting that I really like about what we're reading so far, we're about halfway through the book right now. What I
Mhm.
really like is that not only is there a business application for what he's proposing, but he draws parallels to the personal side. And really,
Mm,
at the end of the day, what he's saying is, by following, these suggestions I have for you, what you're going to do is you're going to free up more time, for the future, for you to do whatever it is you're choosing to do, friends, family, community, volunteering, whatever that looks like for you. It gives you more power in those other areas so that they can coexist together and you don't feel overwhelmed by one or the other area. Is that fair to say, Sheri?
yeah, 100%. And that's what I really like about it too, because there are these really practical applications. Like for me, the big one was like even just like learning to automate. Because I've been finding, particularly over the past 2 months, that like I need to automate things
Mhm.
and start working smarter as opposed to harder. And
Mhm, mhm.
um, like learning the value of efficiency, and putting a little bit of money, allowing yourself. This is one thing he said that was interesting, was allowing yourself to invest, right? So
Right.
like investing in the tools of your trade, investing in
The
things that are gonna
systems, whatever.
that's right. That's going to make your life easier, and more efficient in the long run. So I mean, there's that very practical application, but then there's also like the broader applications that you can apply to your personal life as well. Like talking about, like, the misconception of the work life balance, I thought was really interesting, and like understanding the difference of seasons, right? Because like
Right.
some seasons you work harder so you can achieve more free time in the future, um so like recognizing that there's seasons for things. and
Mhm.
um and I really like the approach that he has, because it is talking about, like, and for you, I think one of your things that I've noticed that you've um how you've sort of recognized was, over volunteering, or like
Right.
doing too much with your free time, that's actually taking away from your family and developing your business,
So let's back up a little bit here.
mhm,
So, part of the initial central theme is that Rory is talking about the fact that, listen, people, there's only the same amount of hours in every day. That is never going to change.
right,
Okay. And what he's saying is, but what you choose to do with those hours in a day clearly is what's super important. And this is more than just learning to time block and all that stuff. I mean, he definitely, proposes utilizing, that as well, but it's not the focal theme. Okay.
right,
And what he's really saying is that, and another really big aha moment for both you and I, and this touches on, your over volunteering, concept, which I am notoriously, and I want to be a member of a community. I want to be able to make a contribution, et cetera, et cetera. But sometimes, back to that concept of there's only 24 hours in a day, it is the theme of don't be afraid to say no,
right,
because when you're saying no, or when you're saying yes, I should say, if you're feeling obligated or pressured to say yes to people, really what you're doing is you're saying no to something else. So
yes,
the
yes,
yes, Sheri, I will, blah 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 blah, really means that the hidden no means that
yes.
I'm not doing something else.
What are
And
you
maybe
saying
that's
no
something.
to in your life because you're saying yes to this?
Right. So
Mhm.
so really what that means for me is that if I'm saying yes, I'm thinning, spreading myself thin, what it means is that I'm saying no to something that may be more impactful I'm used losing sight of. For example, like, making phone calls to my database, and or, getting out there for, a regular walk, or paying attention to my health. Those type of
Mhm.
things are some of the things that potentially you're sacrificing with this hidden no. So Rory says that, we're saying no all the time. You
Mhm.
may not process it as being a hard no, but what
Yep.
really is happening is that by saying yes, the counter side to that is you are saying no to something else. So he says
Mhm.
we say no every day, right? And he
Yep.
said the other thing too that I really like, Sheri, is he says, what? Don't be afraid to say no. Like, don't take it personal. Some people are way better at having no for an answer than being strung along on a maybe, to find that, you wasted so much time in that
Yeah.
maybe. So saying no up front, when really in your gut, in your heart, it's a no from the get-go, or it's more
Hmm.
likely to be a no.
Yeah.
Come come clean, rip that band-aid off, own the no, and you're going to be surprised. I think you'll get more respect from people as a result than maybe. And again, you're not purposely stringing them along, but that maybe strings people along, because there is the
Yes.
hope that there's that you said yes. So be straight up. You're going to know
Yeah.
right away. And the other thing that I really like that he says is, and again, obviously I'm paraphrasing here, but is that say yes to the things that will give you more time tomorrow.
Hmm.
So when you talked about automation, there's this big upfront cost for whatever tool it is that you're the training, the setting the system up or whatever. But what he's saying those type of activities that are taking time from you are valuable because it's freeing up time for you in the future. So again,
Hmm.
he's saying everything you say yes to should be through a lens of, and I don't know, I'll find the actual phraseology he uses, should be, it's a multiplier concept, right? Should be setting you up for, more free time in the future. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, Sheri, what I've done here is I've got a couple of our areas where we highlighted. So this is early on in the book. I'm going to read the passage to you, and let's discuss real briefly why we thought that was impactful.
Sure.
So the first one we've highlighted here is your problem is not that you are too busy. Your problem is that you don't own your situation. Yeah. So I think you have a tattoo of that somewhere, don't you?
I should. Yeah, that's what this means. Own your situation.
Exactly, exactly. So talk a little bit about what that looks like, for you. And the dog is in the background here. Talk about, why was that impactful to you? The problem is that you are not too busy. The problem is that you don't own your situation.
Well, I mean, oh man.
Hey, hang on. Let's make this a little bit easier here. A couple of paragraphs down, there's another thing we highlighted, which says, once you own your problem, you empower yourself to create your own solution.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's cool, eh?
It is. It is. I'm just trying to think through. Um. So yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to like um owning your situation, so like yeah, like I remember why this really stuck with me is because um some sometimes you can you can you can spend almost waste time complaining about how busy you are, right? um and if you're or you can you're around people who are complaining about how busy they are instead of
Mhm.
just like getting it done. Like, why are you wasting time recounting how busy you are to other people? Just get it done. And that's part of owning your situation, is be like, okay, well, I created this, so now let's figure out how we're going to get it done in the most efficient time possible, and then learn from the situation so you don't
Mhm.
put
Mhm.
yourself into the same situation the next time around. And I found that was really impactful for me, like, because August was such a busy month for me, and I had no choice but to just get through it. And then in September, uh, like I found myself with options um, of potentially jumping into the same frying pan that I just jumped out of in August.
Right.
And it's like, wait,
Right.
wait, wait. Where's my
Okay.
boundaries? Like, let's
So
learn,
and so
right?
you feel like you don't own your situation when you're continually scrambling like that, right?
Exactly, 100%. And
Yeah.
then, and then whose fault is that in the end? It's really
Hmm.
mine, because
Hmm.
I committed myself to something that I either really didn't have the time to do, or
Hmm.
I didn't I didn't pad in enough time to account for um delays or unexpected things, because things always come up. So you have to
Right.
pad your schedule with some time to factor in for the unexpected.
Yeah. Hey,
And so, yeah.
so back to your your earlier comment about the season. So I found a little section
Mhm.
here, and it says, okay, so he's saying, meanwhile, balance is more often an excuse for justifying underperformance
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
than a valid explanation for why we're not achieving the results we want in the different areas of our life. So he says, balance is not a benchmark you should be measuring yourself by, and it's not a standard that will bring you a life you love. Embrace the season, embrace the focused imbalance, embrace working double time, part time, and you shall soon embrace the full time free. So that's really wow, because
Hmm.
a lot of people talk about balance in life, and just to kind of paraphrase what he's saying there, he's saying, you know what, no, like balance is a smokescreen. Okay.
Hmm.
But, the aspiring for balance in your life, he's saying, is really an excuse for justifying underperformance. He's saying that that no markets are really in balance. You're either working like a dog because you have an opportunity ahead of you, etc. And what he's saying is, when you work like a dog, you want to make sure that what you're putting your efforts into are going to set you up for freedom in the future. So
Hmm.
that's a
Yeah,
super powerful point of reference, right? What are your thoughts on that?
totally. I mean, and but it's true though, because like, particularly when you're starting your business, or if you're at a point where your business is leveling up, you
Hmm.
can't expect to do what you need to get done in a
Hmm.
35-hour work week,
Hmm.
And so it's
Hmm.
so in addition to um recognizing that, sometimes there's seasons where you have to work harder and put in more time, but you're building yourself up for having a freer future, right? So it's
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
recognizing when it's time to like work, but then also, to go back to like owning your situation, then
Hmm.
taking accountability for how you're spending that time, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then making sure that you're not wasting the time that you're putting towards, whether it's, building your business, building your brand, or leveling up from a brand you've already built. Like,
100% for sure.
there are times that you do need to focus on that, and I love that thing about doing today what's going to make your life easier tomorrow, right? So it's like sometimes
So,
that takes a little bit more work. Oh, and when he was talking about like automation and stuff,
mhm,
or like for me, it's always been like, oh, well, it's gonna take me longer to show somebody else how to do this, or it's going to take me
right,
longer to learn this system. and
right.
and what he just talked about this past week was that's true for one week, maybe two, right? Like, yes, it is going to take a little bit longer if you bring somebody
Hmm.
else on board to show them how to
Hmm.
do
Hmm.
something, or if you're
But
learning a new
you're gonna
system,
save time at the end, right?
you're going to save time at the end. So yes,
Hmm. Hmm.
initially it's going to take a little longer, but
Hmm.
what it's going to do is make it easier for you in the future. So like
So Sherry,
acknowledging that extra time up front, and then yeah.
awesome. So listen, here in the book, he's also talking about multipliers of ideally the people that are truly effective in the world, and are
Mhm.
successful at business and have, wonderful family lives, etc. He really calls them multipliers, and so what he's saying multipliers don't just make decisions based on the here and now. They make decisions based on a perspective of how it will affect the future. And
Mhm.
then to go on, it says, you multiply your time by spending time on things today that will give you more time tomorrow. So we talked a little bit about that. So this whole multiplier concept is really like a primary theme in the book. And it said, right away, you should be doing anything that is going to make tomorrow easier. So again, the point of reference, or the question, you should be asking is that, stop thinking about today. And if something comes across your plate, you need to use this multiplier concept to answer the question: if I do this, will it make things easier for me? Will it save me time tomorrow? And
Mhm.
just because my task is urgent does not mean that that task is urgent for you. So let's talk a
Mm-hmm.
little bit about that as well, because you and I are both deal with situations where people will take a run at us and they're saying, "Oh my God, this guy is falling. This is urgent." They'll call you at 10:30 at night, and you're just like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! This is
Mm-hmm.
not happening." So let's talk a little bit about that. What's your thought on that?
Well, I mean that that all comes down to like setting your own boundaries, right?
Hmm, hmm.
And learning, and that's part of the whole process with managing your time is like recognizing, while this may be urgent to you, like that doesn't necessarily make it my problem to fix, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
um,
and,
like,
and the point is that we're not being empathetic towards a person's
mhm,
situation. It's just that for us to be effective in our own space, it doesn't mean you have to own other people's urgency. Again,
mhm.
if it's not allowing you to be able to help you reach your own personal and professional goals, right?
Right, right, right. And so like I think there's value in sort of learning like when to step back, or like, because I know for myself sometimes um I step in to help even when I haven't been asked.
Hmm,
Like so somebody will tell me, "Oh, I'm having a problem with this."
hmm,
And then I take it upon myself to find a solution when they were just telling me they were having a problem with it. Like,
hmm.
why am I making it my problem to fix? Um and then, you know, that then becomes the expectation that I've put on myself. They didn't put it
Hmm,
on me, right?
hmm.
And so I've set an expectation that, yeah, you can call me at 10 o'clock at night and I'll fix your problem. Well,
Right.
then that's I have to own that I've created that situation, and
Hmm,
then what am I going to do to fix it, right?
hmm,
Because
hmm,
if I'm the one that's neglecting to set the boundary, then it's really ultimately on me, right? It's like
hmm,
I can't
hmm.
fault other people for you know not 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 acknowledging my boundaries if I haven't set them, right? So or enforce them. So
So I'm trying to find in the section here. Remember where he was talking about, there was some examples of how you can kind of let people down without seeming condescending or really
mhm.
apologizing, for, the fact that you have to say no, It's not jumping out to you right now, but it was really good because it really basically said, at the end of the day, I'm so, I can't take on too much right now, thank you very
Yeah.
much. And, so let them down easy and be respectful, of it, but do it right up front,
Yes.
don't let it linger. Okay. I'm looking at one thing right here. I'm trying to find that, but it's not jumping out. Anyways, listen, so we're about halfway, through the book, which is awesome. Oh, here we are here. Hang on.
Well, I remember he talked about not holding other people hostage by your maybe, which I really like that, because
Right.
that is
It
what you're
strings them,
doing.
strings them along, right?
Yeah, because you're afraid to say no. Meanwhile, by saying no, you're empowering yourself to like release it, but you're also empowering them to
Got
like
it.
be able to find another solution instead of
Got
waiting
it.
on you
Got it.
for that
Got it.
maybe,
Got it.
right?
Got it. Yeah. So I found them here. So basically, it's like, as much as I'd like to help you, I simply can't right now, dot, dot, dot. I'm afraid I simply lack the, I wouldn't say this isn't my language, but I'm afraid I simply lack the bandwidth right now to commit to doing this, dot, dot, dot.
Yeah.
It's not in my best interest to take us on at the moment. I've really stretched myself thin right now. So I like that he's given some, examples of ways that you can position, the no without seeming, ungenuine
Yeah.
or fake or too abrupt or what have you. Because at the end of the day, we're nice people. We want to be liked, and also too, we're part of a bigger community, and kind of what goes
Mhm.
around comes around, right?
Absolutely. And
Okay, so listen. So sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna, emphasize that he does talk about like um ways that you can say no nicely. You can still
Mhm.
be empathetic and kind about it, but like, you know, he had that great case study about when, I think he was talking about himself. There was a mentor that he really wanted
It was an
to.
author. I was an author of a book, wasn't it?
Right,
Yeah.
and he really wanted him to come to his book launch, and
Yeah.
the guy just kept saying, like, over and over,
Like 5,
like,
6, 7 times across years. He kept on taking a run at him, right?
yeah. And the guy kept saying no, but he's like, he said
Yeah.
it no in such a delightful way that I didn't mind that he was saying no, so it's
And he,
like,
and he had assistants say no. I mean, it just went on and on and on.
yeah.
Anyways, listen, Sheri, let's wrap this up right now. We've been chatting for
Mm,
about 30 minutes, and it's been
yeah.
awesome. I think I like this live streaming thing. It's going to be a
Yeah,
good
it's cool.
experience. So, anyways, this is again Procrastinate on Purpose: 5 Permissions to Multiply Your Time by Rory Vaden. We really like it. It's an easy read. We suggest you pick it up and run with it. If you're
Mm.
interested in tagging on to Wake Up Niagara at 5:30 in the morning, Monday to Friday, just reach out to Sheri Hawkins or myself. Let's have a conversation. We want to make sure you're super cool and you're a fit. Otherwise, we're not on the in club, so we're not going to allow you to join our group.
We're booting you out.
Exactly. Anyway,
Cool
Sheri,
people
thanks again.
only.
Exactly. So thanks very much for your time, and I will talk to you later.
Okay, sounds good, Steve. Thanks for
Take
your
care.
time. It was
Bye.
fun.